Painfully. That's how they lived. Did they have any choice to do else? No, they did not. This sucks, he murmured. His throat was aching with those simple and rebelling but still way too truthful words. She just scoffed, a cold smirk tugging at the corners of her lips. What a way to articulate yourself, eh? She glanced towards him, eyes filled with salty pearls, as he received her gaze with a glistening sight himself. Ah, don't do me like that. He laughed. His laugh did not sound like a laugh. At this point, as dramatic it might sound, they didn't even remember how it sounded or felt to laugh. To feel it in your chest and to have it make your face hurt. All of it was unfamiliar, but they were managing. Their bones were brittle, skin dry, and their hearts cold. The wind howled in their ears, making them feel alone and apathetic. When did it become like this? He asked. It was an empty question. Both of them knew the answer. But the real question in this situation was, did they really dare to say it out loud? Oh, you know. She stated the obvious, with tired annoyance in her voice. He chuckled. It seemed humorous, but more so it resembled a warm mask. The world is ending and you still think I'm a dumbfounded child, don't you? He turned his head towards her. It was slow but genuine. She did the same in his direction, cockily raising an eyebrow, something he remembered her already doing as a little child. This small familiarity warmed his weak heart, as he had to suppress a tired sigh. I actually do. I mean, how many times have I saved you from death? She almost joked. That almost was evident, they both knew, but knowing didn't mean to acknowledge. This time he laughed. He really did. He felt the warm feeling in his chest for a split second. For a heartbeat he widened his eyes in shock. She saw, smiled, then looked away. You know it's coming to an end, right? Yes, I do. He had interrupted her. He didn't want to hear the end of what she had to say, only because it was the truth. The truth was very unpopular these days. Everything it brought was tears, destruction, and death. She made an understanding noise and leaned back, laying on the ground of the wide field they were sitting on. The grass was sick, colored strangely and with a stinging odor to it. Their senses were numb, sight blurry. They'd noticed a long time ago. I'm fucking tired. He looked at her shockingly. I've never heard you curse. He seemed genuinely humoured by such. She smiled as she said back up again. I actually love that. Do it again. She almost laughed. Fuck. He yelled loudly at her comment, pointing at her with pale fingers. She cursed. That's brilliant. This time she laughed, experiencing the same mildly warm feeling in her chest like he did minutes earlier. He wanted to say something else with an optimistic glance in his darkened eyes, but something interrupted him. The sky got dark, darker than it already was, announcing that the act had ended. It was now time to leave the theater of life, to say a quick goodbye to the people beside you, watching this almost too dramatic play alongside yourself. They both looked each other in the eye. It was time to go. They both wanted to say something, but their throats seemed to be tied shut. He took her hand, action-filled with panic. She sympathetically squeezed his in response as a stream of tears started to run down his cheeks. She grinned happily, a giant explosion appearing behind her. It's gonna be okay, she lastly whispered, before the fire approached them hastily. They were gone in split seconds, remnants being erased out of existence. They had left, but the cast remembered them forever.